Please welcome to the stage National Co-Chair, Senator Nina Turner.
How's everybody? With these hands, baby, with these hands. I love you guys. Wow. So I want to thank you all for being at this grassroots fundraiser. Many of you know we've been trying to do this since July, and here we are in November. I want to give a special shout out to Howard University. Yeah, baby. GW is in the house. UDC in the house. American in the house. Now, sisters and brothers, I got to give a shout out to our elder. And oftentimes, unfortunately, in American society, we throw away our seasoned folks. But there is a babe Bernie that's here. She is 96 years young. Come on, somebody. And her name is Miss Nancy Richards. Let's hear it for her babe. Right there. Give it to her. Give it to her. Give it to her. Come on now. Give it to her. Give it to her. Miss Richards, 96 years young. Now see, and she the ultimate babe for Bernie. Y'all know what I'm saying? Just thank you so much. And she came here all the way from Virginia to be here with us. And we just want to thank her and salute her. Now, all of you are part of this grassroots revolution that we are building. And it is the people's revolution. And as the senator always says, that this is not about me, this really is about us. He is the only candidate in this race that says that when we get to the White House, this is the people's house. And the senator is fighting very hard, along with all of us, to restore the levels of power, the levers of power to where they're supposed to be. So now for some folks, they say that the senator's agenda is too radical, that he's reaching too far, that he's dreaming too big. Well, if you already have good health care, then maybe his agenda is radical. If you are already wealthy, then maybe his agenda is too radical. If you are guaranteed clean water, clean food, and clean air, then maybe his agenda is too radical. Come on, somebody. If you believe that in the wealthiest nation on the face of the earth, that it is okay to bail out Wall Street and leave Main Street high and dry, then maybe his agenda is too radical. But if you are like the rest of us, that you are make sure that people don't go hungry, then his agenda is right on time. If you believe that healthcare is a human right, then his agenda is right on time. If you live in Flint, Michigan, or Denmark, South Carolina, and you need to know that clean water is on the agenda, then his agenda is right on time. If you believe that poverty should not be a crime in the United States of America, that the workaday people in this nation deserve better than what they are getting, then his agenda is right on time. If you are black in America and you get gunned down in your house, then his agenda is right on time. If you are a woman in America and you ready to get your whole damn dollar, then his agenda is right on time. It's just right on time. If you believe that we can't play with Mother Earth, that as human beings we have ravaged her and it is our job to make the crooked path straight, then his agenda is if you want somebody who doesn't stand up in the living rooms of multimillionaires and billionaires and say to them that nothing will fundamentally change for them. Well, guess what, DC? If nothing fundamentally changes for multimillionaires and billionaires, then nothing fundamentally changes for you and you and you and you. Senator Bernie Sanders has said, I'm coming for your greed. His agenda is right on time. Right on time. If you are a veteran in this country and sick and tired of us thanking you for your service, yet we don't show that thanks. Senator Sanders has the most aggressive veterans agenda of any presidential candidate. His agenda is right on time. And if you have an anti-endorsement list, come on, somebody. In the words of President FDR, judge me by my enemies. In the 21st century vernacular, judge me by my haters. Senator Bernie Sanders has laid out on his website who all his haters are. His agenda is right on time. And I just got to say this. I mean, there's some folks who just, they had an evolution, they had an epiphany, and that's a beautiful thing. But there's only one candidate that stood up in 2016 and said to the system, you are rotten to the core, and I'm going to stand up for the everyday people of this nation. His agenda is right on time. And being similar is not the same. There's only one Senator Bernard Sanders. Only one. Only one. And he is a champion of the people. And guess what? We're going to shock the neoliberals. We're going to shock the world. And we're going to send Senator Bernard Sanders to the White House. Oh, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. So I want you to do something for me. Now, we need you. You heard from our campaign manager. You heard from folks. Now, we need you. It's good for the family to get together. Thank you for your donations, but you got to go out more committed and knock on doors and bring folks and compel them and talk to them about why you support the senator. We want friends and frenemies. We want them all. And we can do this. Together, we're going to do this. So I want you to do something for me. Raise one hand for yourself and another hand for somebody else. Dr. Maya Angelou once said, have the courage to stand up for yourself and the courage to stand up for somebody else. With these hands, we will have Medicare for all. With these hands, we will cancel student debt. With these hands, we will cancel medical debt. With these hands, women will get their whole damn dollar. With these hands, we will eradicate income and wealth inequality. With these hands, we will save Mother Earth. With these hands, we will fix an injustice system. With these hands, we will have transcendence. And with these hands, we will elect Senator Bernard Sanders. Come on, somebody. The next president. Come on, somebody. The next president. Come on, somebody. Of the United States of America.
Thank you. I am here tonight as the chairman of the Nina Turner Fan Club. But in addition, I'm running for president of the United States. Let me thank DJ Oz for the music. Let me thank our great campaign manager, Faz Shakir, for all of his great work. And let me thank Malia and Lynn for helping us raise money. And let me give a special thanks to Nina Turner. Nina has been running all over this country, doing the most important work that anybody can do. And that is getting working people and young people involved in the political process and standing up for justice. So I thank Nina for all that she has done. Now, the campaign that you are involved with is truly unprecedented. It's unprecedented. It's unprecedented in that, of course, we want to win the Democratic nomination. And by the way, don't tell anybody, we're going to win the Democratic nomination. But that doesn't make us unprecedented. And yes, we're going to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country and send him packing. We're going to do that too. But what makes this campaign unprecedented, and that's what Senator Turner and Faz were talking about, is that we're not just going to win the election, we're going to transform this country. People have been winning elections for the last many, many decades, and yet at the end of the day, the average worker in America not making a nickel more in real inflation accounted for dollars than he or she did 45 years ago. People have been winning elections for decades, and tonight we got 500,000 of our brothers and sisters in this country, children, sleeping out on the streets in America. People have been winning elections, and yet today we got 87 million people in America who are uninsured or underinsured, and we got half of our population living paycheck to paycheck. So what we are saying and what this campaign is about is not just winning the election. It is telling the 1% and the corporate elites, who, by the way, in case you haven't noticed it, are getting very nervous lately. The billionaires are actually getting very emotional. They're breaking down. They want to take our money. Oh, my God. How terrible can these people be? We only have $150 billion. They want us to pay taxes. What is this country coming to? But what makes this campaign unprecedented is we know something that other campaigns don't acknowledge. And that is that no one president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do it alone. Because we understand that the power of the corporate elite, and I'm talking about Wall Street, and I'm talking about the insurance industry and the pharmaceutical industry and the fossil fuel industry. I'm talking about the military industrial complex. I'm talking about the prison industrial complex. Talking about the whole damn 1%. Now these people, I'm a U.S. Senator. I deal with these guys. They have unlimited amounts of money. Unlimited amounts of money. They have enormous power over our economy. They help elect many of the people who serve in Congress. They own the media. They are enormously powerful. And what makes our campaign unprecedented is that we know the only way we take them on and make the changes that this country requires is not just by electing a president. That's a start. But it is by building an unprecedented grassroots movement of millions of people Millions of people who are prepared to stand up and fight for justice, for economic justice, for racial justice, for social justice, for environmental justice. And what the history of this country is about is that we understand that the only time real change takes place, whether it's the labor movement, whether it is the civil rights movement, whether it is the women's movement, whether it is the gay rights movement, whether it is the environmental movement, the only way that change has ever taken place is when people stand up, look power in the face, and say, sorry, get out of the way, because we're moving toward a just society. So what we are about, what you are about, is winning this election, but it is also understanding that the day after we are inaugurated, the day after, then we got to roll up our sleeves and get to work to transform this country. What do we mean? What do we mean by it? What is our agenda that is exciting people all over this country and transforming the very nature of politics in America? What is our agenda? For a start, it's what you are here today about. Not so many years ago, really, within the last 10 years ago, what politics in America was about is candidates selected by the elites going out to rich people's homes and raising hundreds of thousands of dollars and running for president. All right? That's what was going on just even a few years ago. But what we said is that we don't need billionaires contributing to our campaign. We don't need a super PAC. We're going to do it a different way. We are a campaign of working people, by working people, and for working people. And it is really humbling. And sometimes, I know the media doesn't think I'm emotional. Occasionally I get a little emotional when I think that there are over 1 million people in this country, over 1 million individuals who have already contributed to our campaign, sometimes once, sometimes 5 times. And that average contribution coming from teachers, coming from workers who make $11 an hour, coming from people on Social Security, that average contribution is $16 per contribution. So our approach toward politics a little bit different than Michael Bloomberg's. Just a little bit. And that is why we win. We win because at the end of the day, what is most important is the kind of grassroots support, not only contributors, and we thank you all very much for being here tonight, it is volunteers. And as Faz was saying, we have over 1 million volunteers in every congressional district in America, knocking on doors, making the phone calls. That's what it's about. And we win the election because we have the ideas that are creating the kind of energy and excitement that a campaign needs in order to grow the voter turnout, in order to speak to people, young people, working people who have given up on politics. They look around them, they're working 2 or 3 jobs, worried about the kids, they can't afford health care, and they are asking, who cares about us? And what Senator Turner was saying, we care about them. Because we know that as a nation and as individuals, we are better. Not when we simply step over everybody else and make billions, but when we have compassion and love in our hearts, and when we create a government that works for all of us, not just the people on top. So this is a revolutionary campaign which talks about ending the corrupt political system which allows billionaires to buy elections. We're going to end that. This is a campaign which is going to end the kind of obscene levels of income and wealth inequality we have in America today. Now, Congress doesn't talk about it, the corporate media doesn't talk about it, but we will talk and end the situation where 3 people in America own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. And when we talk about an agenda that is relevant to the lives of working families, we are going to end the international embarrassment of being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. We had a meeting just yesterday in Iowa where we had people coming up and talking about what this current healthcare system is doing to them. And when you hear people talking about the suffering that their families are going through, how they're going bankrupt, they're going deeply into debt because somebody in the family had a serious illness, it really, brings tears to your eyes. We got 87 million people in America uninsured or underinsured. We got 500,000 people who went bankrupt last year. You know why they went bankrupt? Because maybe they came down with cancer or heart disease or Alzheimer's or whatever. People should not go bankrupt because they have a serious illness. That is disgraceful. And despite all of the money and all of the power of the drug companies and the insurance companies, I have absolute confidence that together we will pass a Medicare for all single-payer program and guarantee health care to all people. Four years ago, when I talked about raising the federal minimum wage to a living wage, I was told that I was crazy. Well, that may or may not be. But I will tell you that over the last 4 years, 7 states and the U.S. House have passed a $15 minimum wage. And when we are in the White House, every state in this country will have a $15 an hour minimum wage. We're going to make it easier for workers to join unions. And women will get the whole damn dollar. Four years ago, when I said we got to rethink what public education in America should look like, I was told that I was too radical. Well, all over this country right now, states, cities, counties are moving to make public colleges and universities tuition-free. And I want everybody in this country, regardless of your income, to know that you will be able to get all the education you need to fulfill your dreams, regardless of your income. "11 years ago, the Congress, against my vote, voted to bail out the crooks on Wall Street. Well, Congress can vote to bail out the crooks on Wall Street. We can vote to cancel all student debt in America. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that through a modest tax on our friends in Wall Street. And here is an issue, my friends, that should get everybody very, very nervous. And that is the scientists are telling us that not just that climate change, as all of you know, is real, is caused by human activity, and is already causing massive problems in this world. What they are telling us is they underestimated significantly the speed and extent to which climate change is causing damage. This is scary stuff. What they tell us, if we do not act aggressively, major cities in the United States, I'm talking about Miami, I'm talking about New York, Charleston, South Carolina, cities all over the world will be underwater by the end of the century because of significantly rising sea levels. Right now, as we speak, you are all aware of the terrible tragedy taking place in California, a great state, burning, electricity being turned off for hundreds of thousands of people. Massive fires right now in Australia. This summer in Europe was the hottest heat wave, worst heat wave that they have ever recorded by far. We're looking at the acidification of the ocean. We're looking at migrations of people in search of clean water and land to grow their crops. This is what we are looking at. And what we have proposed in this campaign is the most aggressive climate change proposal ever brought forth by any candidate running for federal office. And what our job we have, it seems to me, and I've got 4 kids and 7 grandchildren, we have a moral responsibility, not just for you and you and you, but for future generations. We have got to make sure that the planet we leave our kids and future generations is a planet that is healthy and is habitable. And here is where we need to work together. I wish I could tell you that all we got to do is transform our own energy system. All we got to do is take on the fossil fuel industry here. As hard as that is, our job is even harder because we got to transform the entire global energy system. That's what we got to do. So what our job is after we are elected, is to show the world that the United States is prepared to lead. And that means telling the people in Russia, in China, India, Pakistan, Brazil, all over this world, telling them that instead of spending $1.8 trillion every year on weapons of destruction, we should use that money for a common goal, fighting our common enemy, which is climate change. And as Senator Turner told you, as Faz told you, our campaign is about ending the disgrace of a broken and racist criminal justice system. We invest in our young people, in jobs and education, not more jails and incarceration. We're going to end the war on drugs and legalize marijuana in every state in this country. We're going to expunge the records of those people arrested for possession of marijuana. But it's not just a broken and racist criminal justice system. It is a broken and racist immigration system. And together we're going to end the ugliness coming from the White House, the racism, the demonization of the undocumented immigrants in this country. We're going to move to comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship for the 11 million undocumented. Our administration will never be about snatching babies from the arms of their mothers or throwing children in cages or breaking up families. Our administration on day one will restore legal status to the 1.8 million young people in the DACA program. And our administration will understand that the right to control her body belongs to the women of this country, not politicians. And we will never, ever appoint or nominate anybody to the Supreme Court who is not 100% Roe v. Wade in favor. And our administration understands that gun policy in this country is about ending the horrific level of violence that we're seeing with guns all over this country, and that gun policy will not be determined by the NRA, but by the people of America. So and that's just some of what we are talking about. Well, I love you too. And love and compassion have got to be what our campaign is about, what our country has got to be about. We have to end that hatred and the racism and the divisiveness which is coming from the White House right now. That is not what this country can be. So, let me conclude by just saying this. The needs in this country are enormous, and we need to roll up our sleeves and get to work. We need to protect our children and create the best pre-K child care system in the world. We need to make sure that our young people, many of you, go into teaching and education and understand how important that job is. Because we believe in education, we respect educators. And under our administration, teachers will not have to work 2 or 3 jobs. They'll get the compensation and respect that are due. We need your help in all kinds of ways to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, from engineers to carpenters to sheet metal workers. We need millions of workers to rebuild our infrastructure and to transform our energy system. So we have an enormous amount of work to do. And what this campaign is about is ending the divisiveness of the Trump administration. He thinks he is going to win re-election by dividing us up based on the color of our skin, where we were born, our sexual orientation, or our religion. He is going to learn very soon that that is not a path to victory, that is a path to defeat. So tonight, I just want to thank all of you for being here. I want to welcome you to a political revolution. And 30 or 50 years from now, I want you to be able to say to your grandchildren, I was there. I was part of the revolution. That we together were part of the revolution that transformed our economy, transformed our political system, and transformed our value system. A value system which understands that we are in it together. That I am a better human being when I work with you. You are better when we all work together. So brothers and sisters, now is the time. This is the year. Let us go forward. Let us transform this country. Thank you all.